I can't
I didn't
believe
think that that was that bad.
I can't believe that we found out what we found out about in the Patreon opening.
Yep. What? Which one? The A part, B part, or C part?
You know, it really doesn't matter. We can't talk about it
I
right now
know.
because they done missed out on the
Oh,
Patreon
I know.
part.
I was just gonna let them know which one was the most interesting.
Uh,
Can you hear me at all after my trip down the well? 'Cause
yeah,
I feel like I
he
can't hear
fell
anything.
pretty far down the well. Honestly, he did. It wasn't intentional for him to go as far down the well as he did, but
Well, sometimes in life we have consequences,
this is true.
and
I don't know if a lot of people realize these things anymore.
yeah,
That's
sometimes
why I live
those
my life
consequences are not fun.
I live my life so timidly. I mean, I'm not a small, timid creature, but I do live a timid life just because I'm like, you know what? There's so many consequences to just like literally any kind of shit that go on,
Well,
and they're trying to make like all of our legal THC products illegal here in Tennessee.
they are. But you know what'll help uplift your spirits in this trying time?
No,
You know how sometimes we talk about AI?
like the steak sauce.
No, artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Okay, have you heard of it's like the OG of the artificial intelligence in Spy Robot.
Oh, the Haley Joel Osment movie.
No, no, like inspirational bot. It makes inspirational pictures and quotes.
Okay.
It marries the two together.
Oh, InSpoBot.
In Spy Robot.
I think that I've seen this before, but I can't quite recall.
Okay. It might take a couple clicks before I get a good one. Sometimes it don't make sense. Because,
Is it a random meme generator?
kind of.
Oh
Like one
no.
of them, you get this picture of a lady and a man on a bicycle. And it says Atlantis out there.
Why does that exist? What does that even mean?
Hold on. Sometimes it gets even deeper than that. Okay. So let's not hem them in.
I'm not trying to to
We
downplay.
can't say that one.
Okay.
Sometimes it gets kind of rough.
Yeah.
Um, that one said disguise your semen.
Ah.
This one. You are a super destroying shame counselor. It's
Why is it doing this? None of these make any sense.
well, it's pulling from a lot of just random words throughout the internetings. It was put out in the wild and told to fend for itself. It was given It was given nothing to help train it except it's searching Google by itself. This one is a hand. It says stealing is the last thing you should worry about.
Oh, now that's good.
Yeah. I don't know if they're telling you, don't worry, you can just go steal stuff, or don't worry, people are not necessarily going to steal from you.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing can just be stolen.
Anonymous sex is an illusion for the cowards. So sometimes you get stuff like that.
That's just disturbing,
Yeah.
honestly.
And oftentimes it puts in like a classically inspirational background, or sometimes like famous art.
So is it supposed to make like those inspiring, like hang in there, baby,
Yes.
like kitten on a wire
Like
kind of
this
deal?
one. This is probably one of the most inspiring. Fear is how the planet says, "You're mine, bitch."
Okay, I get. You should save that and share it to Facebook. You'd probably get like 10,000 likes.
Maybe.
Do it. Save it.
I don't know how to save it on here.
You just right click.
Uh,
Right click the image.
Hold on, I can look at it again in a minute.
Just right click the image. Don't lose it. That one's the gold one. If you lose the golden one, then what's the point of Easter egg hunting?
Okay. Save image as.
I mean, you don't get the dollar bill.
I'm gonna call that one GG.
Except nowadays, I think kids get like $20 bills in those golden eggs.
This one says, "Don't be obsessed. Examine the dragon." And there's a McDonald's sign for some reason.
Oh, that would be good to sell to like the to the anti McDonald's folks,
It absolutely would. I mean,
since they exist. I mean, I can understand being against McDonald's all the time, but at the same time, I also remember watching that documentary. What was it called? Super Size Me with
Yes.
Morgan Spurlock.
yeah.
So I was like, after watching that documentary, like I absolutely became obsessed with the idea that McDonald's all the time would make your entire body shut down, and your liver would inflame, and you would just get sick and die. But come to find out, he was just actually an underlying alcoholic that was consuming just tons and tons and tons a day. That was also affecting everything along top of it. So it's kind of hard to determine if it was true. So bring back supersize.
Bring
back supersized fries at McDonald's. Bring them back.
Those who oppose the truth enjoy chemtrails.
Waterworld.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's the better movie, Waterworld or Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves.
Are you sure though?
Yes.
But what if you're 12?
If you're 12, you're not really going to well, you might get into Waterworld just from some stuff happening.
There's
a 12-year-old kid.
Well, no, there's an exposed woman's buttocks.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. The girl on the boat when she strips to try to offer herself to him. You don't remember?
Yeah.
You must have not liked Waterworld too much. I watched it last night for the first time ever.
It's been a very long time.
I don't. Okay, so what do you got? What else? Did you stop, or did you figure out how to save it? You're still clicking?
Yeah, I saved those.
Okay, so have you found anything else worth mentioning?
I've seen some that were kind of okay.
Nothing really worth it.
Nothing really worth reading. Sometimes there's hits, sometimes there's misses.
Okay, so give me that website. I'm going to try it too.
INSPIROBOT.com. Also going to try refreshing.
.me?
Yes. You just click generate.
You can't give it any parameters?
Nope.
Let's see what it brings up for me.
It's like a magic 8-ball.
This woman's naked.
Like naked? I've not seen naked.
This woman's naked and wearing boxing gloves. Every time you worry about artistic expression, you also worry about tits.
Yep. Oh well, that's covered. Biology is pointless without sex.
Okay. Okay. Inspirobot work.
You get a good one. Must have got a good one.
You're almost as ripped as a cow. Please God, let me have this. Let me have it.
Sometimes it's too real because this one just says,
"Hell yeah, I saved it." Oh,
we really trust the upper class. I mean, it's a true statement.
You're almost as ripped as a cow.
That's one of the better ones that I've seen today.
Let's see what else we got. Hold on. Please, Inspirobot.
Allow yourself to be dangerous. Contemplate that for a moment. And this little Area 18 picture.
Huh. Yeah. This one isn't good at all. I don't even want to.
Yeah, some of them are just.
I don't like that.
I just keep clicking until I see a good one.
Did you already show me this picture?
It does recycle pictures after a while.
Well, you showed me this picture, not me.
I mean, it uses a lot of the same pictures.
Oh, it says, if you really want people to love you, say no. Well, set your boundaries is what it's trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is a boxer in the ring. It says, lying always ends in madness.
Catcalling is actually naughty.
That looks like a.
It's a real looking out over the.
Turn to innocence. Were you just waving in it?
Yeah, just
what are you
experiencing the clouds.
What are you?
Yeah.
That song makes me feel that way. Ridicule authority and behave parasitic whenever you can. And it has some shopping bags and a sandal on a foot. Is that like a Karen's motto? Is that a Karen's motto?
Maybe.
I need to speak to your manager.
Well,
Is your manager here? Let me talk to your manager. Hey, fuck you. Why? You're the manager.
Well, don't you think that crimes can turn into pain if you go through with the surgery?
That is... What? And Spiralbutt tries.
It
It,
does.
it really tries. Okay, let me try another one here.
It's not a very sophisticated
It
artificial,
really isn't.
but sometimes it's real funny.
It says, keep an eye on individuals. It's got little kids.
Okay. Sometimes it really gets on his shit. Okay, here's a good example of what I've been trying to find.
I'm upset.
In the end, all people will question Bukkake.
Save that. Save that and put it on Facebook. Dude, you're missing tens of thousands of likes with this. You can share once weekly on your Facebook and get tens of thousands of likes and tell people about the podcast. Maybe if 1 out of every 1,000 get on here, we can gain some following and more people can learn about these things.
I do post stuff to my Facebook sometimes.
But not those things, not those pictures that you just had.
Truth.
Well, here's a picture of a dead man in the floor with a bottle of beer next to him. It says, climate change is the lifeblood of the media. I mean, damn, bold.
Yeah.
How artistic and bold of it. Okay, what's next? Don't search for the truth. Just be who you always wanted to be. And then it has just the letter Q in a block. What is this? Is this subliminal?
I don't know. Starvation, the price the poor must pay.
Save it.
That's not a postable.
Save it, though. Honestly, what's it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt? You're not going to have to post it, but wait till the political climate just gets a little extra elevated and then just throw some gas on it real quick.
It's true.
just
It would inflame
just
the populace.
just throw gasoline on the fire on the internet.
Make up liars, trust algorithms.
That doesn't make any sense, but it's funny.
What about kiss death? And there's a guy with a bow and arrow. Kiss death.
That's pretty. You should put that in the archery team's locker room.
I hear Miss Death is actually kind of hot.
If you understand how to confuse her, you understand how to understand her.
Oh,
While he's surfing the wave, brah.
damn, bruh.
Shredding the gnar. All right, one more piece. Then we got to get into the regular episode times.
Okay. That's bad.
Come on. Oh, it's recycling pictures on me. It's recycle. Oh, here. All right, this is what I'm saving. What's yours?
Hold on, I'm still clicking.
Oh, you're still rolling? How many more you got left?
I don't know.
How many more you got left?
I don't know.
Come on, pressure's on.
Oh God!
Come on,
Not
pressure's
even had
on.
a seizure yet.
Pressure's on. You've got 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6,
I'm right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is yours? Hope it's awful.
Feel sympathy for money.
Save it for the political climate later.
It looks like whatever happened was a tragedy.
Mine is a chessboard showing the Queen's piece that says, random people, they live to threaten you.
That's called the Queen's Gambit.
I love that. I love that. I'm glad that I know about that, just period.
People who hoard bodies get public relations. I don't know, man.
That's awful.
I know. Sometimes
Inspirobot, you
sometimes
step out of
Inspirobot's
line.
really horrible.
You step out of line, Inspirobot, and I don't understand you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Porn addiction is the best medicine.
Jesus Christmas. Get out of here, Inspirobot. You're fired. I think the only way to drown out Inspirobot is if we can cue theme music.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, right here. Yeah!
tales of nerds and lore. Three best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics boring to movies grand and games we love to play. We'll sail the seas of fandom land in our nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Austin Shazam. My name is Chance Pfeiffer.
And I'm Tiny, the older and slightly wiser Shadow Man.
And we are Nerd Through the Grapevine, the podcast where your best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. This week we're coming at you with a tiny topic idea, and I will butcher the entire shit out of it. What was your idea, sir?
So, just animal-based movies, like why we love them, why we hate them, some of our favorites, some that we'll never watch again.
Correct. What was the movie that you saw that inspired this topic in your head? Because I think you were mentioning to me that you were watching one recently just to kind of...
Well, no, I watched several to. I'll get to that. So I was sitting there and I was petting my dog, and I was just kind of watching a movie, and I saw a pupper on there. I was, oh, it was a cute pupper, and then I went, well, I got a cute pupper,
Mhm.
and so just spending time with her, and I was thinking about how much I love my dog, and I was like, I just kind of feel like I want to have a happy cry.
Oh, God.
And then I had a bunch of cries and a bunch of different emotions.
What movie did you watch?
Well, the first one that I watched was Turner and Hooch. That's one of my favorite ones.
I
But I forgot about the sad bit.
Yeah, there's some sad bit, but the
Well,
scene,
most of it is happy bit.
the stakeout is
The
great.
stakeout is the best because that's literally how me and my dog are.
I
Just the whole conversation.
joke. My wife called me out on this joke this morning, actually, when we were running through the Seven Brew drive-through. Because whenever we're, on Sundays we go to Seven Brew. We call them our Seven Brew Sundays.
Nice.
So we were going through the Seventh Brew drive-through, and they have the little dog bones out there to give to the dogs that are hanging out in the car with the people.
Mhm.
And I asked for a puppy bone. I was like, "Hey, do you have any of those dog bones sitting out here?" They said, "Yeah, here you go." I said, "Thank you. I'm starving." And
Me too.
and Trudy hated it. She's like, "He's not insane. It's for the dog." And I'm like, "Trudy, you've never seen Turner and Hooch?" It's like he gives you a whole flavor profile description of what that bone is.
Oh yeah, like they're sitting there. They're watching. The crime is really the least important part of this whole movie.
I can't tell you what the crime is whatsoever. I've not watched the movie recently.
The crime is the original Hooch's original owner getting shot and killed.
Okay.
Because at the beginning, Hooch is with this elderly guy that lives by the pier. He does some kind of fishing thing. I don't know exactly the business. Doesn't matter. And so Hooch kind of gently attacks him, and he was like, "You need to do something about that dog." He's like, "Oh, he only bites you on the leg because he knows you or whatever. Like it's fine. He likes you. That's why he does that." And Hooch is like the classic looking junkyard dog, just.
And back in these days,
He's
it
a
was just
spirit dog.
it was just mastiffs.
Well, he was a Neo Mastiff mixed with a Bull Mastiff.
Yeah,
That's
but-
what his breed was.
But these big dogs that were intimidating, or Cujo-y. Cujo was a Saint Bernard, but also looked like Mastiff because of the big jowls. Like all the big floppy jowl droolers were the big mean dogs.
And so the stakeout, they're trying to figure out who killed the previous owner and why. Well, and the Tom Hanks is a very OCD clean freak at the very beginning, and this dog is drooly and smelly and like it's this whole thing. And so when he's finally starting to kind of accept the dog, they're at the stakeout, and the dog's sitting in the right seat and just like looking too like they're locked eyes together. And so, in an effort to not stay bored and keep alert, he starts talking to the dog. Like, hey, have you ever seen this movie? Or the show? It was like the funniest thing. It was like about a chimp that was really a spy, and it was just like the best thing at the time.
Well, that's the exact same way that I talk to my dog, except she'll sit and like look me directly in the soul while I'm talking to her sometimes. And I feel like because sometimes their eyes don't look so canine.
Yeah.
They look a little bit more like they understand.
Oh yeah, Nola does the same thing to me.
It goopers my brain all to death.
And so, it starts off like that, and then he's like, here, this will help us. We're going to have a snack. And so he takes this big old dog bone and he gives it to Hooch, and like he does that, and he's like, he smells one, and he takes a bite himself, and he's like, oh, it tastes healthy. This is gross. So he gives it to Hooch again, and then like he gets his hand on Hooch's mouth because slobbery. But my favorite part is when he's sitting there and they're watching, and Hooch starts to drool these big old long things of drool, and he's like, "Man, that's kind of embarrassing."
Yeah, you got a little
little something.
a little something. You ever thought about looking into that?
Yeah, it looks like you swallowed a tennis shoe. The shoestrings are hanging out.
Yep. Oh, that's the thing about the Mastiffs and the Saint Bernards that I just can't do is just the drool.
Oh, and
They are machine drools.
Yeah. Do you think there's a use for that stuff, like some kind of industrial lubricant?
My friend Daryl's had a dog named Roxy that was a Saint Bernard. That was the only Saint Bernard that I'd ever seen that just didn't obsessively like have that stringy drool happening. She had a rug that she would go lay on. It seems like every time she'd have a drool sesh happen, but she would just go lay on that rug. But I think she was a polite.
Could be.
It could
Well,
be.
it also depends how their jowls are, because some of them, their jowls are more open when they droop.
Yeah.
And there are some where the jowls are kind of closed. The closed jowls, less drooly, but you got to clean in there.
Well, her son was mixed with the Great Pyrenees.
Oh, okay. So that probably helped.
Yes.
They are not jowly.
No, but
Also massive.
but that was the biggest dog that I'd ever seen because it came out solid black.
Dang.
His name was Goku.
Nice.
And I never got to know Goku because Goku was too big of an intimidating looking dog for me to just go love on, because that dog was just, his bark had this like loud, how those like the,
Oh, yeah, that big, loud, deep.
because like it'll rattle you, because I mean he's also got the Pyrenees protection with the Saint Bernard yell, like I'm out of here, you look like you should fight bears.
Well, see, here's the thing about me, though. I've always had just this connection with animals. Like, was never intimidated by a big dog. Did not care. Because I knew from a very early age animals loved me.
You just knew?
Well, yeah.
It's not like a
Well,
Dr.
see,
Doolittle thing.
Well, my dad was the same way. Because we used to go camping at this campground that's, I think it's on the other side of Livingston. It's called Lilydale, right? And so this campground, there was like a pack of skunks.
Oh, God.
And so Dad would stay up and he'd pet the skunks at night. Yeah, he would just sit there. They'd come up and they'd pet them. I didn't believe it for like a couple of years. Or it could have been a couple of weeks. I don't know. Kid memory,
Yeah.
So after a few trips, I decided I'm going to stay up and I'm going to see the skunk petting. Because I don't believe it. So I'm laying in my little tent, and I open the zipper about, a couple inches, just enough I can get my eyeball through it, and, actually kind of see. And my dad, he's just sitting there at the picnic table smoking a cigarette, just kind of like looking off into the night. And you see one skunk, and then next thing you know, there's like 10 of them. And they're all up on the table by him. He's just petting them and kind of talking to them. And I didn't go out there, thankfully. But then, because I don't want to get in trouble. So the next night I was like, Dad, I really want to pet the skunks with you. He was like, you think you can, bud? And I'm like, yeah, Dad, like, I'm your son because,
I hate that you're bullshitting me with this
I'm
story.
really not.
I hate that
I
you're
am not
bullshitting.
bullshitting.
Okay, continue,
Turn me
because I
down a
love
little bit
this.
because I'm peeking.
Yeah, I heard you.
But no, like this is legitimate. And so Dad was kind of hawed around. He's like, well, it's kind of late. You're usually asleep at that time. I'm like, but Dad, like, I stayed up and I seen it. I didn't believe you, but now I do. And I'm your son, so I'm clearly just like you. And he's finally like, all right, son. So he let me stay up with him. We're the only two. Dad is smoking a cigarette, drinking a Miller Lite, and there's this, the sun's going down, and the whole world, at the time gets real quiet. And out where Lilydale was at the time, they didn't have the street lamps because we're talking this is the 90s. They wanted it to be actually dark, so you can actually see the stars really good. And he's like, "Now we just got to be quiet, And so, all right, Dad. We're sitting there and he's smoking a cigarette. So he makes it through about one cigarette and he lights up the second on his Winston. And then the first skunk come. And it hopped up by Dad and he's petting it. And then all the other ones start coming, and I'm just like trying to, maintain. They end up like all around us and we're petting the skunks. It was actually really cool. And then after about 5, maybe 6.5 minutes, they just went off into the night. And then we went back. Then we went to get dance and went to bed.
My flabbers are gasted. My flabbers are gasted
Yeah,
because I know that skunks make pets.
they do.
I did not know that they would domesticate themselves.
I don't feel like they were domesticated.
Well, the fact that they would just approach a person and allow that person to pet them and to associate with them, and then allow that person's offspring to do said same.
Well, see, from what I remember, years later, I went back as a like I was like a very early adult, like 18, 19. I was camping there with some lady that I was seeing, and I was talking to one of the workers that worked like the check-in place. I'm like, hey, do y'all still have like the pack of skunks that live here? And this was an older lady.
Yeah.
She was a lady that owned the place, and she was like, yeah, or she said no because clearly they're not still there. I said, do you remember that? She was like, yeah, they were always terrorizing through the camp. They're just talking about how like much of a nuisance they were. For them.
You don't remember that as a nuisance, though.
No.
You remember those were the skunks that you got to pet and befriend.
Yeah. So for me and my dad, they were our friends, but apparently they would fuck up everybody else's shit.
Well, that's crazy. I don't really know how to feel about that because at the same time, this same animal-loving, petty, skunky character that we have in this story, not too long after that in life, decides that he would kill his neighbors' squirrels they had been feeding.
Hold on. No.
He killed the
Okay.
squirrels and cooked
Well-
them in stew.
Well, look here.
He stewed the squirrel meat of the neighbor
Look here. Let
pet
me
squirrels.
explain myself.
and fed it to her without
Hold
her
on.
knowing
You're making
that.
it sound way worse than it was.
I'm telling them the shortcut version of it without the hemming and hawing.
no. Look,
This is clear. The clear-cut version is Tiny killed his neighbors'
look, hold on.
squirrels that were living in the trees. They were wild squirrels that
they
got
were
addicted to
wild
people
squirrels.
food.
They did get addicted to people food, and it was getting winter time. They were fat, and the problem was because they'd eaten so much food that the neighbors fed them, they were going to die off and starve, and I didn't want them to suffer. Also, I like squirrel and dumplings, so I come home one day. I procured a BB gun, and I'm a real good shot, so they were clean. And I basically walked through my yard like a vengeful god and took out like 12 to 15 squirrels that I've then prepared into squirrels and dumplings. And me and the set of neighbors, we would, swap food back and forth. So it was just normal thing. Like, hey, man, I got extra chili. You want some? Yeah, dude, bring it over. Just that kind of thing.
It doesn't get better the third or fourth time you hear the story.
Well, I didn't think about it, and I didn't know that his girlfriend was over at the time, because sometimes she would come and stay for a while. Sometimes she would go and do school things because she was going to school to be a nurse. Anyway, so he's like, "Yeah, man, bring it over." And I brought it over, and there she was, and I'm holding a pot of this, and I set it down because at that point I told them I'm bringing food, but they didn't ask what kind of food, but there I am with it, and I can't say, you don't want this. And also, she started talking like, I haven't seen Romeo in a while.
That was the squirrel's
That
fucking
was
name.
one of the squirrels. He was big and he was fat. He was
Juicy.
pretty. He was tasty. And I didn't want to tell her. And instead of cutting the meat off the bones, I just dropped the skinned and processed, meat that the squirrels left me into the pot, just whole. And she eats one bowl, and she's like, "Oh, this is really good." And I was like, "Cool, I'm glad you liked it." And she goes to get more, and she scoops, and she's got a squirrel's head on the ladle. She screams. She says, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but that it might actually be Romeo."
And
I
she
wasn't very tactful at that time in my life.
screamed.
I mean, I didn't.
She
mean-
was
I
mortified.
didn't mean to feed her pet squirrels.
You fed
I
her.
didn't do it in a malicious way.
You knew you fed her
I
pet
was in
squirrels.
a catch-22. I was in a catch-22. I was hoping like the one bowl that would be happy, she'd find it good, and then I could to get it out of there. Because I never did plan on telling her that I did something to the squirrels.
But you planned on feeding it to her in the first place.
No, I was going to feed it to her boyfriend, who I was going to tell it was the squirrels, because he and I had talked about how we were worried about this pack of squirrels' survival.
Tiny, how old were you when this happened?
I was like 21, 22.
I'm glad you're not 21 or 22 anymore, because that Tiny was a different Tiny.
Yep.
You were a lunatic.
No. I mean, it's still not as bad as Franklin.
You killed the squirrel, and you killed the freaking dinosaur turtle.
Yeah, I feel bad about that one.
You know
I feel
what?
worse about that one.
You know what would make you feel less bad about killing that turtle, though?
What?
Because all turtles go to heaven,
They do.
much like dogs.
It's true.
Have you ever seen the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven?
It's been a while, but I do remember that I loved it as a kid, except the scary part, which I'm thinking, wasn't it like the limbo part that was kind of the scary part, or was they just like, I don't know, it was like dark, and I was like, da 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 da. It was something definitely on the other side of the veil.
The
Other than that part, I love the movie.
Oh, you talking when Charlie has the he's being drugged down the hill and it's like you can see like the shadow looming over everything and like encompassing everything and it has that demonic voice.
Yes.
It's the same voice, the multitonal voice that's like
Yeah.
Is that it? Was that close?
Yeah, that pretty much.
I hope so, because that was pretty epic. Pretty epic part. It used to give me the creeps, especially whenever he was down there getting drunk into the lava by the little demon dogs.
Oh yeah.
But the when Charlie's up in heaven and he had died because of what Carface had done to him, because it's not Scarface, it's Carface because he's a bulldog, so it looks like he got hit in the face, like his car's smashed face.
He's a short barrel dog.
He is a short barrel and he is angry. He's angry. The movie actually is sad. And it's also sad on top of it because the actress Judith Barcy, the little girl that played Anne Marie, was also the same voice actress that played Ducky in The Land Before Time.
Oh, okay.
And in case you didn't know about her, she died in a very bad way. Yeah. So I think that it might have been. Let me verify real quick just to make sure because I don't want to. Yes. Yeah. Her father was an abusive alcoholic and ended up doing bad things.
That's
And she died at the age of 10.
Dang.
So that makes it even sadder because I mean the movie itself is pretty sad, but Dom DeLuise is in it. Dom DeLuise was in every freaking thing you can think of when it comes to like voiceover things.
Wasn't that
He was in a few different movies too, like Cannonball Run and Cannonball Run 2 and An American Tail. He was Tiger in American Tail.
wasn't that what is it? The movie? It's something with a B.
Something with a B?
You know, like people say like student like this was a Ghibli movie. What was the?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about.
It was like
What, a Ghibli?
no, it's something akin to that movie is a Ghibli.
Oh, I was
Did
thinking
like Rockadoodle.
Oh, well, no, that's American Tail, like the final movies.
There's like a classification for them.
Oh, the Don Bluth movies?
Yes, thank you. That's what.
Yeah, Don Bluth movie. Yeah, yeah. American Tail was a Don Bluth movie. He was also in The Secret of Nim. He was in All Dogs Go to Heaven. He was like a Don Bluth all the timer. I think the only Don Bluth that he might not have been in, man, he was in Oliver and Company. He was in a lot of Animal. Daggum. Troll in Central Park was also a good one. But
Dude, Saturday, I did a bad to myself. I watched like 6 animal-based movies in a row during the course of my shift, which was a very slow shift.
do you remember what the entire plot of the All Dogs Go to Heaven movie is?
Not really. I was such a little kid when I saw it.
Let me give you a brief readout of it because it's not the longest thing ever. Because all in all, it wasn't even that long of a movie. It was 84 minutes long. So it says here in 1939 New Orleans, Charlie B. Barkin escapes from the dog pound with the help of his best friend Itchy Itchiford and returns to their casino riverboat on the bayou. His business partner, Carface Carruthers, is surprised to see Charlie alive and is reluctant to share the profits with him. Carface has secretly been responsible for Charlie getting committed to the pound due to greed and decides to get rid of him for good. This time by killing him with a car. This was a children's movie, mind you. Despite not having done any good lifetime deeds, Charlie is automatically sent to heaven. He then is greeted with a whippet angel.
Whippet? Oh,
Yeah,
dog whippet.
like a little
My brain's a different kind of whippet.
whippet angel that explains to him that because dogs are inherently good and loyal, all dogs go to heaven and are essentially entitled to paradise. Taking advantage of her kindness, Charlie cheats death by stealing a pocket watch representing his life and winding it backwards. As Charlie descends back to Earth, the whippet angel tells him that he can never return to heaven. I can recall that scene. You can never come back. You can never come back.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
So basically, he goes back. He finds Itchy. He tells Itchy, hey, I'm not dead. If I was dead, would I have fleas? Hey, check this out. I'm not a ghost. Ghosts can't have fleas. So, but Itchy was voiced by Dom DeLuise, but the Charlie B. Barkin was voiced by, Turd Ferguson. Oh, that's not my name. My name's Turd Ferguson. Oh, come on, mustache, Burt Reynolds. So he
What is Turd Ferguson?
that was an SNL skit where Norm Macdonald played Burt Reynolds, and he was always just obscene.
Yeah, it was on one of the Jeopardy ones.
That's not my name. I wrote my name down there. Sir, it appears to me that you wrote Turd Ferguson. Yeah, that's my name. They end up getting in touch with find out that Carface has this thing called the Little Monster. The Little Monster that Carface has is actually a child that can talk to animals named Anne Marie. So Anne Marie can speak with animals of all different walks of life, not just talking dog. She can talk to horses, she can talk to lizards, she can talk to turtles, she can talk to all animals. She's like Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah.
And this they decide that they're going to take her and they're going to place bets with her because they'll have insider scoops on things like rat races or things like horse races or anything to do with animals. Hell, they bet on every race you can think of. Turtle races. They even bet on turtle races because she like pep talks the turtle and gets it all amped up, and then it like super speeds like.
You'd think a turtle race would be to race to see which one's the slowest.
You would think so, but this one was a legitimate like how fast can these turtles go kind of race, and this thing got geared up and was moving. So they go in. Man, that's a long ass movie. Now that I think about the description of it, because it's hard to describe all the ups and downs within it. I mean, you see like the place where Charlie helps contribute to the like this orphanage of puppies that's raised by this collie, this border collie that's got this orphanage of puppies staying in the steeple of a church.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and then that's where he actually falls asleep and has the dream of after they all eat pizza, he has the dream of him getting himself dragged down to hell.
Mm.
Yeah. And then later on in the movie, the actual like battle between good versus evil does happen because he ends up sacrificing himself to save Anne Marie. And he had died, and his spirit was visiting her while she was in the bed, like upset that he had died. And the parents that she was supposed to have actually ended up finding her, and everything was all well and good. But she was there without her best friend that she had made, and he saved her. But there his spirit was next to her bed, just talking to her, and there was this ultimate like battle in the sky between like you could see like he had accepted his fate, then like darkness was closing in. And he knew that he could never go back to heaven, and he was okay with dying because Anne Marie had actually been saved, and Anne Marie was not harmed. And he saw her wake up, and she was like, "You always have to go, Charlie, but you are a good dog." Ouch! Damn it! That's what it does to me. Dog stuff does that to me.
It really does, dude.
Pats his little ghost on the head and says, "You're a good dog." Ouch! And then the devil dog in the sky gets chased away because the whippet angel comes back and decides that he has done a good deed. And he has earned the right to come back to heaven. I don't want to talk about the second movie because it kind of sucked in comparison.
Homeward Bound, man. That movie will just.
Did it wreck you?
Oh my god, dude! I was also experimenting with gardening. I was gardening.
Oh
because-
man, don't garden sad.
No, well, I mean, I started with Turner and Hooch, and it had a bunch of happy to it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Homeward Bound's also got happy. Man, that thing took me on a roller coaster. I kid you not, I cried like 5 or 6 times. And the part that got me the most is, I think it was like night 2 when they're sitting out, or no, it was longer than night 2. It was about halfway through the whole thing, and I think they had just gotten Sassy back, and Chance is kind of just waking up to realize that Shadow is not just the old dude that's there. He's legitimately like a wise older dog, and
The voice actor for Shadow died right after the movie.
I didn't know that.
Well, he was old. He died in
Well,
'93.
I mean, you could tell he was old based on Shadow's voice.
Yeah, he was an old man.
And he was like,
Well, that little girl that they found down in the good dog.
oh yeah, he was like, no, I'm a good dog.
Oh,
that got me.
that had to be what. God, it's getting me. We can't talk as dog owner people. Like I can't talk about like dog stuff the way that I used to talk about dog stuff or watch dog stuff because man, it hurts me.
Dude. And
Thinking about my little helpless Shih Tzu out in the wild just because she got restless waiting for me at a cattle ranch
I found the quotes.
way out in Montana. Looked like it was owned by an older version of Rip and. Go ahead.
So Shadow was sitting there. It's just after Sassy went over the falls, and Shadow was like, "I shouldn't have made her come." And Chance said, and Chance is like the goofy, like young boy. He's an American bulldog,
Yeah.
and he's like, "But it wasn't your fault. She wanted to come." And Shadow's like, "But it's my responsibility. I had a responsibility to Sassy, to love her, to protect her, the same as I have to you." And to Peter, and the same as you have to Jamie. And Chance said, but we didn't ask for this job. Shadow said, we didn't have to. It's built in. It's been here since the dawn of time, when a few wild dogs took it upon themselves to watch over man, to bark when he's in danger, to run and play with him when he's happy, to nuzzle him when he's lonely. That's why they call us man's best friend. And Chance said, looking at him that night, he seemed so wise and ancient, like the first dog that ever walked the earth, and I just hope that one day I could be like him.
How are you keeping it together right now?
Dude, it's hard.
How are you keeping it together right
I
now?
had so many feels. Like, it was such a beautiful moment.
I got a secret. There's a nerve in my arm that I could kind of do to kind of get it under control, but I gotta get like that nerve activated. Otherwise, my tear ducts will just keep rolling. My sinuses will drain. Oh, it's slobber fest up in here,
yeah.
bruh.
Dude, do
Oh.
you realize how much I cuddled my dog when I got home after watching that movie?
I just watched my dog throw up all morning from having a bad reaction to medicine. Like I was not having a good dog day.
Right.
I was not. She puked foam,
Phew.
just thick marshmallow looking foam.
Poor girl.
She's better now. Hell, she
Yeah, oh,
she tried to
fine
kick your
now.
ass earlier.
Oh, yeah, she's perfectly fine.
She's back to
now.
normal. She said, "I threw up all the stuff. Now I kick your ass.
Yeah. She's like, I got it out.
Got all the stuff. I know will kick your ass. Come here."
But
Michael J. Fox was Chance,
Yep.
and Sally Field was Sassy. I don't know Don Amesh. Don Amesh was the actor that voiced Shadow, but he was an older actor from like the
Okay.
golden age of Hollywood.
yeah, that's probably why we don't know him. And he might have just been like just a voice actor.
I am on the Mother Source. I could tell you.
Might as well just check it out.
The Mother Source says that I don't want to read so much. Oh yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Well, did it say that he's an actor or
Actor.
comma voice actor?
He's an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
We can probably dig into him.
I mean, from
later.
this is like from all the way back in like the 1940s.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna know that.
Yeah, no, that ain't for me.
No.
That was for the grandparents that were taking their grandkids to watch the movie about the dogs in the theater.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he was the grandpa dog, and his voice.
I don't want to talk about him in the mud hole.
Oh, I know, man.
I don't want to
Well,
talk
we're-
about him in the mud hole.
We're gonna get there.
Let's not talk about him
It's
in
like-
the mud hole.
Okay, how about in the pound?
Let's not talk about him in the pound either.
No, the
he was
pound-
a
the
no,
pound
he was
part
a
like
hero.
great escape.
He was the hero boy in the
Yeah,
pound. He
well-
wasn't the hurt boy.
Well, in the pound, that was it was Chance realizing that Sassy legitimately cares about him, even though they give each other shit, because they're always like at each other, making fun of each other, and he's just like whatever, because he's like, look, I've been to the pound a couple of times. I don't want to go back. This place with these people, it's just a stopping point, man. They're not going to keep me, so I'm just going to raise hell while I'm here. Okay, that's Chance's attitude at the beginning. And then going through all the stuff with Shadow and stuff and Sassy, and they're sitting there and they're in the pound, and Chance has got the porcupine quills in his face, and he thinks that the doctor trying to get him out is going to kill him.
It bit me with his butt.
Yeah, and Shadow's locked up in the cage. Sassy escaped, though. Shadow's locked up in the cage, and he's like, I can't believe Chance was right. I thought these people were here to help us. And meanwhile, the pound got a hold of the owners, told them, we have them, just come get them,
And the dogs don't know different. They just
Dogs
got to get
don't.
home. And the
Yeah,
cat's
they-
the same way. She's got to get out of there.
Well, the
Hell.
cat was out. She's like, I got out, but then she's like,
I got to save them.
I got to save them. I can't lose my boys again.
Oh, when they're running to each other and when they're out in
Oh,
the
yeah, in the field.
yeah,
man.
my boys, my
Yep.
boys.
Yep, and the whole time she's like, dogs drool and cats rule. But then she, after her near death experience with the mountain man, she's like, I actually love these dogs.
Yeah, they take care of
Yeah.
me.
So she goes in there and she sets Shadow free. She's getting catcalled by all the other animals in there. Pops Shadow right out that pen.
Yep.
And Shadow's like, Chance. They took Chance in the back room. He told us. So they're going, and Shadow looks, and they're holding Chance down and pulling the quills out of his face. And he's like, hurry, Sassy, they're killing him. And she ends up distracting one of the guards. She's like, come on, Tubby, just chase me. You're never
Here,
gonna
Tubby,
get me."
Tubby. Here, Tubby, Tubby.
And they managed to escape, which is awesome.
And unlike
It's
Milo,
sad at the same time.
unlike Milo and Otis, no animals were harmed in the making of this film.
Thank God.
Rattler was the dog that played Chance.
He was a handsome boy.
Tiki was the cat that played Sassy.
Pretty
And,
Himalayan
and
cat.
Ben was the dog that played Shadow.
Yep. Golden Retriever. Boy.
Just that good old boy named Ben.
Yep.
Oh, ow, ow, my heart. Okay, let's talk about something that's a little happier for dog movies, so we can get out of this.
Okay, Dog. Have you seen Dog with Channing Tatum?
Oh, I have. That one's also got its points of sad.
Yeah, but at the end, it's so happy.
It is good. I'm glad that he got what he needed to get
Yep.
because it was a journey.
It was a
It-
journey
it-
for both of them. They saved each other.
They did. This one's not so sad. This is a 2009 movie that is based on a 1987 film. This movie is featuring Richard Gere, and he plays a professor who commutes to Providence, Rhode Island, and finds a dog lost on the railway station. He takes the dog home. The dog grows closer to him, and they try to keep the dog in the house, and the dog just refuses to stay in the house or the yard. Every time the owner goes and has to go off to work, and he goes to the station and waits for him to get back home from work. This movie is called Hachi,
Oh God, I know what this movie
A Dog's
is.
Tale. Now, if you want to watch a really happy, good dog story, you can watch Hachi, A Dog's Tale. Hachi.
Am I thinking the wrong one?
Oh no, it's fucking miserable.
Okay,
It's
Yeah,
miserable,
that's the one
gut
where, like,
wrenching.
the owner passes away.
And the dog dies waiting for
Yeah.
him at the station. It's
It's-
based on a true story. There's
Yeah.
a statue to Hatichi.
Yeah.
I think that was then its name, like actually
I don't
Hitachi,
remember his name.
Hitachi or something
But
like
that's
that.
what they based that sad episode of Futurama on.
Fry's dog. Fry's dog is a real ass thing.
real
that happened.
story.
And Fry's dog's episode is one of the most randomly traumatizing episodes of
Yes.
television. Oh, he
Yes.
probably just forgot about me anyway. And then it just shows like
It
you might
shows
as well
that
play.
dog sitting
Just
there
play Sarah
every
McLaughlin.
day.
Play some Sarah McLaughlin over the.
Ooh.
I will remember you. Like and then just
Well-
cry, scream, cry.
Dude, I Am Legend is awful too.
It is also awful. I do think that anybody that hasn't tested their boundaries with how hard they can cry after a dog movie, you need to watch Hachi, A Dog's Tale. Not only is it's a
Is it worse than Marley and Me?
it's worse,
I don't-
dude. It's worse. Marley and Me is
Marley and Me
gut wrenching.
was So sad.
Marley and Me is gut wrenching because
And the first half of it was such a good, funny, great movie, and then the back half, real bad stuff.
I didn't like it. I mean,
I loved it so much until it got to the back half, and nobody warned me.
yeah, Hachi was one of those that just like it made me hurt.
Did you know the story going in?
No.
Oh,
No,
boy.
No,
Oh,
no,
buddy.
no. I had somebody that I trusted say, "Oh, if you've never watched Hachi, it's so good." Like thinking that the loyalty of the story would be such a great, profound thing to see.
I mean, which it is, but it's so sad for that boy.
I need to rehydrate. I leaked a lot of fluids from my eyes
Yeah, you
earlier.
did.
I didn't.
I hope the mic picked up on that because that was
What?
amazing ASMR.
What the mic?
You drinking?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just took.
No. I'm serious. I hope it picked it up.
I just have if I'm taking a drink of water, I'll just have a half a bottle at a time. It's
I
not
mean,
a
I
big
do
deal.
the same thing.
What am I supposed to do? Sip it?
I mean, I do while I'm here.
So, yeah, it's pretty daggum sad. It's a real life story though. You can look it up, and there's actually a statue in that train station or bus station or that station area in Japan
I think
where it's from.
I think there's a bench there too that
Yeah.
the guy would sit, and the statue's next to the bench where he would stand.
Oh, and it
I
would
think
go
they have,
there.
like a plaque, like it's a whole like little memorial spot.
It would go there, and I don't think it left.
No, it would come back every day at the same time, and wait for his owner until he passed away too. I'm pretty sure he passed away at the station in the spot.
I'm not built for this shit. I'm
know,
not.
man.
I'm dude. I am a Kia dude. I gotta be a Kia because I am not built for it tough.
Dude,
I got-
like I don't think there's any animal movie that's just a happy.
Oh, it can't
But-
be. It can't be. Let me think about any other animated like dog movies because
Well, I did really like Dog because I hadn't seen that one before until Saturday. The dog was a military service dog, and his handler / owner ended up committing suicide, and the dog Lulu, she had PTSD, so she wasn't able to be a service dog anymore. And the battle buddy of him ended up getting a head injury, and he's out of the military now. But he wants to go back in to go to war, like, because that's all he knows. And his old captain or whatever says, "Hey, well, if you do us a solid, I'll see what I can do. And we want you to take Lulu to the owner's funeral because the wife has requested that. Also, she's an absolute menace, and watch yourself, bud. She bites.
She's a wreck of a dog.
Yep. And there's nothing we can do. And after the funeral, take her to this other base, and they're going to put her down." And he's like, "Was there anything that they can do?" Like, he clearly hated dogs in the beginning, like, did not give two shits. And he's dealing with his own PTSD and his head injury. And they ended up, like, bonding to the point that he becomes who she needed to get through her pain, and she becomes who he needed to get through his pain. So they come together and they save each other's life. And at the end of the movie, she's a completely different dog from when she started. Not scared anymore. You know, he's not scared anymore. Like, his PTSD so bad he'll go into seizures. And, like, it got me when at the thunderstorm, when he first, went to comfort her, when his vehicle breaks down, they're taking refuge in the barn. He's sitting there, he's comforting her, she's on the chair. There was like a DVD of some trash TV he puts in this, this DVD player that's in this barn randomly. And he's just like, "Hey, here's some popcorn, here's a snack, I'm here for you." So later, when he has his seizure from his PTSD episode and he's laying in the floor, she gets down in the floor and lays across his chest to comfort him, like, "You was there for me, so I'm going to be here for you now."
Yeah.
Whereas before he would yell and she would bite, and it was just a bad time.
They found comfort within each other.
They did.
And they didn't know that they started off as adversaries, but they ended up seeking comfort from each other and being the lean on that the other needed.
Exactly.
They needed that connection, that dependency.
Yeah, and at the end of it, I got so mad for a second because, spoiler alert, he ends up taking her to the other base, knowing full well that she's going to be put down. But he said to the guy, "Hey, she's completely different now. Like, we went on a journey to get here, and I think she'll be okay now." And the guy was just like, "Whatever, man. You showed up late. I don't care." Like, just a real butthole about it. And gets the loop stick and gets that on her. And he's like, "Man, you ain't got to do all that. Like, she's good." And he's got her on the loop stick, and she's like all jumping and scared and stuff as he turns to drive out. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
"Don't leave her.
You do not leave her.
Don't leave her." I was screaming at the TV. I watched this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I was saying,
she was there for you, you son of a bitch.
That was the point where I was crying, but it wasn't like from sad. It was from anger.
Yeah.
I was angry tearing, like,
Yeah.
"How dare you? This is a betrayal to the
Yes.
audience and the dog and my soul. I kill you."
Yep.
I'm
And
a
he looks
puppet
in
on a
that
stick.
rearview mirror, and he starts talking to her. He's like, no, it'll be okay as long as you're calm and da-da-da. And I'm just like, "No, you're being a bad boy. You're being a bad boy. She is the goodest girl, and you are being a bad boy." And then he went, "You know what? I'm being a bad boy." And he reverses. Like, he doesn't bother trying to turn around or nothing. He reverses, and he goes, "Oh, hold on, man. I forgot to put her vest on her. You know how girls are. If I do that, she'll be calm." Gets her back in his Bronco, and he's just like, "Fuck this. I'm out. I'm out, bitches. I got my girl,
Deuces.
Yep, and one of the MPs like, "Hey, but you forgot your military ID," and he's like, gives him the finger, and he's like, "I don't need it, throw it away," and then off they go into the sunset.
Yeah.
And then there's this real, like, happy tear letter that he wrote her, because there was a book in it that was like I called it the "I Love You" book,
Yeah.
and it was just the record of all of the events that has been in her life, and like poems and songs and letters that the previous owner, his battle buddy, wrote to Lulu. So he added a new entry into the "I Love You" book about, I'm glad you're here. You saved my life. You changed it, and all this stuff. And it's just a very happy, good moment.
Yeah, it sounds real happy, real good, triumphant, not sad at all,
Yep.
with tears. Nothing of those. Not a single one happening.
Well, I mean, it ends happy.
Yeah, happy tears happen real easy with dogs too.
Yep.
Just watch. I don't want to get into the description of it, but watch the Harrison Ford movie on Disney Plus, Call of the Wild.
Yep.
That has stuff that goes on throughout it that because it's a CGI dog. This isn't a real dog,
That's true.
but it's convincing enough damn CGI dog that I'm believing that this dog's doing dog shit, and I'm like concerned for the CGI dog.
Yeah.
I'm concerned for the CGI dog, like most of the movie actually. Like even though I know like this is a CGI dog, this ain't real. I'm like dog, no.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm the same way when I see a dog in a movie.
I'm going to let you know a lesser known dog movie that I have talked to several people about, and not many people remember this. This movie was from 1995. Something about in the 90s, like early 90s, they just were all about dogs, and kids are going to like buy this and like dog, 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 dog. But there was a movie that came out. The plot of it was a mutt puppy who has flashing memories and dreams of having lived a human life is taken to a pound and eventually escapes. He is raised by an elderly homeless woman named Bella, who gives him the name Fluke, stating he is a fluke by nature, fluke by name. Fluke supports Bella by helping her earn money from passing strangers who are impressed with Fluke's ability to beat Bella at the shell game. You know.
Yeah.
After Bella dies from an illness, Fluke meets a streetwise dog named Rumbo, who takes him to see a man named Bert who feeds them. Rumbo is voiced by Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in farther.
Luke matures into an adult dog and eventually realizes that he was once a man, and he remembers his name, Thomas P. Johnson, and he died in a car crash. Fluke is then abducted by a man named Sylvester who uses like dogs in makeup experiments, and he has to remain captive and Rumbo comes in and helps him escape. But basically, like Fluke ends up being able to. He finds his family,
Okay. Like his human family.
his human family.
Okay.
He finds his son. And the son befriends this dog because, as sons do, as little kids, little boys see a dog, you're going to have two reactions. You're either going to be scared because you're one of them,
Never.
or you're going to be like, "Oh my God, love me." This
Always.
this kid was basically just like the dog, 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 dog. But the dog kept having memories coming back more and more of, I know this. I know this family. Who is this family? And it's his family. And he ends up being adopted by his family. And it turns out that the guy who had been best friends with him was actually like moving in on his wife,
Mhm.
and had actually staged the car accident that caused his death.
Oh dang.
And he was being like abusive to the family and all this other stuff. It was, man, it was a wrecker of a movie just because as he's slowly realizing like these aren't just dreams, I was actually a person. Wait, who is this person? I know who this person is. Why do I know them? I have this feeling like oh, that's my son. Like
Well, it's kind of like a dog's tale, but the opposite.
yeah.
Or no, a dog's purpose.
Yeah, where they goes through the different iterations and different reincarnations of the dog.
Yeah, until he comes back to his child owner as a grown man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, but the other way around.
But the other way around, to where it was this guy was reincarnated as a dog, and he used to be a human,
right.
but he didn't know that it was the case because it just starts off like, I feel like I keep having dreams like I'm like of humans. So, but watch that. It was a Metro Goldwyn Mayer production with Rocket Pictures. I don't know where you can stream this or if it is available to stream because it's not like
Just called Fluke.
just called Fluke. It does not have a very high rating. I don't believe. Let me see what this what its reception says. Average tomating on Rotten Tomatoes is 31%.
Average tomating.
The tomato rating.
Yeah, but you said tomato.
I probably did. We slip up after gardening.
That's true.
Average rating of 3.9 out of 10. I don't believe that. I thought it was a much better movie than what people are saying about it right there. But then again, I watched it whenever I was younger. But you should watch it. If you've never watched Fluke, it's a pretty good premise, and it's not the absolute most gut-wrenching story. It's another one of those that could be happy if need be.
Yeah. The happy ones are the best ones, but sometimes you just need to feel the sad, you know? I don't know why.
Everybody, thank you for joining us this week. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Nerd It Through the Grapevine. I mean, this week's episode was a dog's journey for sure.
Yep, sure was.
We took a walk through the park.
Yeah.
And I cried too many times during this episode just from talking about animals. Does that make me a crazy person?
No, hug your pets and loved ones.
Yeah, do that. Make sure you do that. You never know when your last chance to give them that good little head scratch is going to be.
Exactly. And if your dog does what mine does, where she comes up and she looks me directly in the eyes and kind of turns your like cheek to me, and then I say, "Well, you want some kisses?" You kiss that cheek, and then she'll turn and show me the other one. I'm like, "Oh, you need kisses on that side too?" And you kiss that cheek too, and then she's happy.
And if you're like me and you've got a 10-pound Shih Tzu,
That dog's like 3 pounds.
she'll look at you and she'll say, "I'm really sweet. Look how sweet I am," just so you can get your hand next to her face while you're about to pet her, and then she lunges and sounds like the Tasmanian devil.
Well, that's because of how slow you do it.
That's because if I go quick, she's just going to go quicker into the bite.
Well, no, dogs can only see up to a certain frame rate. So our eyes can see certain things moving where their eyes don't. So you're probably moving your hand slow enough she doesn't see that it's moving until it touches her. And that's why she does that.
That's awesome, and I never thought about that.
Yeah, because I think they need at least 30 frames a second to be able to see something. That's why you put like an older show in front of dogs. They're not going to notice. But like modern TV that's filmed at the higher frame rate is actually moving pictures to them instead of stuttery jankiness.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Homeward Bound the other day at the shop, and Millie was sitting at the edge of sitting on the edge of the seat.
It's definitely been remastered.
She was sitting there just looking at the TV. Like Chance was screaming about getting those quills pulled out of his face, and she was just sitting there going.
She was like, "Man, that really sucks."
She's like, "I hate the vet too, Dad. They put stuff in my butt, and look what they do to Chance."
Yeah, pretty much.
You all have a good rest of the week. If you've seen any sad dog movies or any good dog movies, any movies about your dogs, man's best friend, get on our Discord and tell us about it, because we talk a lot on there whenever anybody wants to have conversations. So
We do.
we'll see you on there. Thanks for tuning in this week, everybody. Deuces.
Doses.